To Washington now, Donald Trump has confirmed that Ukraine's President Zelensky will travel to Washington on Friday to sign an agreement on rare earth mineral resources. President Zelensky has described the deal as more of a framework and wants further assurances, particularly on security guarantees. He says the success of a deal depends on that. But a short time ago, President Trump said it's up to Europe, not the United States, to promise security guarantees. And he also said Ukraine could forget about joining NATO. From Ukraine, here's James Waterhouse.
Father, we thank you.
While Ukraine fights, America's cabinet prays ahead of their first gathering. After a fortnight of criticising Kyiv, a first sign of agreement.
President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. The previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get our money back, and we're going to get a lot of money in the future, and I think that's appropriate because we have taxpayers that shouldn't be footing the bill. We'll be able to make a deal, and again, President Zelensky is coming to sign the deal, and it's a great thing. It's a great deal for Ukraine too, because they get us over there, and we're going to be working over there. We'll be on the land, and in that way, there's sort of automatic security because nobody's going to be messing around with our people when we're there.
Ukraine's untapped minerals could be its way out of this war. The US wants a slice in exchange for past and future military help. It had demanded $500 billion worth, but has seemingly come down. In return, Ukraine wants security guarantees to stop Russia breaking a ceasefire, but today said none had yet been finalised. Nevertheless, President Zelensky said there is a deal, or framework. And if down the line when deals are agreed, you don't get the security guarantees you want, would you walk away from this deal?
Without future security guarantees, we will not have really just peace, and we will not have really ceasefire, what Trump spoken about. And if we don't have it, nothing will work.
Of Ukraine's critical minerals, most are still within territory it controls. But the more valuable deposits are in the east, a large part of which is under Russian occupation. On Ukraine's path to peace, today felt more of a first step than a meaningful breakthrough. Listening to President Zelensky there is a lot of detail missing, and he is concerned about selling the future wealth of his country. But there are some who think this could be the beginning of a sizable investment opportunity.
It's business for your children, for your grandson or granddaughter. It's a great deal for both countries in the future, not for now.
Last night, 177 Russian drones were reportedly launched at Ukraine. Here, outside Kyiv, one person was killed. With scenes like this, today's negotiations have felt more like a business venture than peace talks to end this war. James Waterhouse, BBC News, Kyiv.
Let's go to Washington now. Our North America editor, Sarah Smith, is there. And Sarah, quite an extraordinary start to President Trump's first cabinet meeting. It was all broadcast live. It was more like a press conference, and one of the first and main speakers, Elon Musk.
Yes, exactly. He's not a cabinet member, but he was there in attendance addressing the cabinet. And as you say, Donald Trump, before the meeting even started, took dozens of questions from reporters in the room, which is quite unusual. And he was talking first and quite often about this deal in Ukraine. He sounds very, very pleased with the agreement he says he has struck with President Zelensky that he says will be signed at the White House on Friday, talking about over $300 billion worth of spending he says America has given to Ukraine, which is an exaggeration, and saying he thinks he'll get that much back from this deal. And money was very much at the forefront as well when the tech billionaire Elon Musk was addressing the room. He was justifying the huge budget cuts that he's imposing on different departments and saying it was absolutely essential that America saves up to $1 trillion. Have a listen to what he had to say.
The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country a $2 trillion deficit. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. They're going to like stack them up, But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt.
Now, there have been some tensions between the cabinet members around the table there and Elon Musk, as he's been taking the axe to spending in their departments and to staffing as well. And he sent out this rather controversial social media post saying that all federal workers had to list what they had done last week or they face being fired. And he talked about that again. So did President Trump, saying they needed nearly 2.5 million government workers to reply to this email so they could find out that they actually exist. They think there are dead people on the payroll, people who don't really have jobs there at all. And it sounds as though every single one of the cabinet ministers at that meeting is going to have to get their workers to reply to that email saying what they did last week to justify their wages.